Okay, lie down. Everyone lie down.
Blah.
Lie down. This is the story of Daddy and Mr. Noonan. And the magic cat.
Not a cat.
Magic cat, yeah. Heidi hasn't heard this one. Daddy and Mr. Noonan were saying, you know what it would be good to have around here? And Mr. Noonan said, no, what? And Daddy said, we need a pet. Do you want to get some chooks? And Mr. Noonan said, nah, the foxes come and get them. What about a dog? No, you've got to be here every day to feed them and water them. So why don't we go down to the RSPCA and have a look at some abandoned animals? So they went down to the RSPCA, and the lady, the ranger, showed them through the cages, and they saw all these dogs, and they didn't see any dogs out, and they went into the cat cages, and there was this one silvery grey cat sitting right at the back, right up high, with startlingly purple-coloured eyes. And it piercingly looked at Daddy and Mr. Noonan. Daddy said, oh, check that cat out. And it almost seemed to have sparkles around it. They went up to it, picked it up and gave it a cuddle, and it purred. And they said, we'll take this one. They took it home, and they sat it on the couch, and they got a saucer of milk out, and some cat food, and made it feel at home. And then Mr. Noonan went out to make a cup of tea, and while Mr. Noonan was out of the room, the cat looked at Daddy, and it made a strange eye movement. And you'll never believe this, Heidi. Sit down, sit down. The cat actually spoke. It said, you will do my bidding. And Daddy strangely said, in a strange voice, yes, I will do your bidding. Then Mr. Noonan walked back in the room and said, is everything okay in here? Daddy said, oh, yeah, everything's okay. The cat sat there quietly. Then Mr. Noonan walked out to get some milk for the cups of tea. And the cat said, Daddy, you will throw Mr. Noonan out of the house. Oh. And Daddy said in a zombie-like voice, yes, I will throw Mr. Noonan out of the house. And when Mr. Noonan walked back in, Daddy grabbed Mr. Noonan by the shirt and threw him out of the house. Mr. Noonan said, what's going on, Daddy? What's happened to you? And he just said, I must throw you out of the house, and closed the door. Then he went back to the cat and said, what is your bidding, my master? And the cat said, you will make me chocolate cake. And Daddy said, I will make you chocolate cake. And he made the cat a chocolate cake with icing and cream filling. And he brought it back to the cat. And the cat said, thank you. And he ate it all up. And meanwhile, Mr. Noonan was banging on the door. Daddy, what's going on? And the cat said to Daddy, get rid of Mr. Noonan. And Daddy said, I will get rid of Mr. Noonan. Daddy opened the door and said, yes, what is it, Mr. Noonan? He said, what's going on? Why did you throw me out? Oh, no reason. Just go back home. And he closed the door again. He went back to the cat. What now, my master? The cat said, now you will brush my fur. And Daddy said, oh, yes, I will brush your fur. And he started brushing his fur. Then there was banging on the door again. Daddy, let me in. What's going on? What's happening in there? The cat said, I think it's time you should throw Mr. Noonan down a hole. Daddy said, yes, I must throw Mr. Noonan down a hole. So Daddy opened the door and said, Mr. Noonan, come with me. Mr. Noonan said, oh, good, thank goodness. What's going on? Daddy said, come with me. And he took him down the backyard where there was a big hole and tried to throw Mr. Noonan in it. But Mr. Noonan was an elf. And he jumped out of Daddy's way and slapped him in the face 3 times and said, Daddy, you're under some kind of mind control. And Daddy said, yes, I'm under some kind of mind control, and continued to try and throw Mr. Noonan into a hole. Well, there was only one thing for it. Mr. Noonan used his elf magic and made Daddy unconscious. He made him fall asleep. Then he dragged him back in the house and went for the cat. Said, cat, what's going on? And the cat pretended to be just a normal cat. It went, meow. Mr. Noonan said, I see through your tricks, cat. And the cat went, meow. And Mr. Noonan lunged at it to try and grab it. But the cat said all of a sudden, you won't get me. And leapt to the left. But Mr. Noonan was quicker and he grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. But the cat swung around and sunk its teeth into Mr. Noonan's arm. Well, Mr. Noonan let out a yell. But without a word, he ran to the back door with it still, the teeth still stuck in his arm, and booted it like a football. And it went sailing across the backyard, right into that hole that Daddy was trying to throw Mr. Noonan into. Ah! Boom! What the cat didn't know was that hole was the hole that Roberto lives in. And you know what dragons love eating more than humans? Cats! And as he left the hole, he could hear the cat going, "No, no!" and a really deep voice going, "Yum, yum, cat, my favourite food. Nom, nom, nom. No, no, get me out of here!" And Daddy got, Mr. Noonan came and got Daddy and slapped him across the face a few times and said, "Are you all right, Daddy?" Daddy said, What's happened to me? What's happened to me? I don't remember anything." That cat we got from the RSPCA turned out to be a magic cat and tried to take control of your mind. You even tried to get rid of me. You tried to throw me down Roberto's hole. Daddy said, "What? Really?" Mr. Noonan said, "Don't worry. Roberto just had a lovely snack. I threw the cat down Roberto's hole." So you know what they did then? They went and finished their cup of tea and laughed their heads off. The end. Who liked that story?